their recipes. I put mine in sleeve protectors or paper protector. I don't know what they're called. That way they don't get ruined and they're just easy to reference. You can also put them in gallon-sized Ziploc bags, which also work out well. So I like to have everything portioned out in front of me. I go according to the list of what you need. So a stand or a hand mixer. So I'm going to use a hand mixer, a deep dish pie pan or store-bought crust. So I have a pie pan over here. Okay, we're going to make the crumb topping. However, I actually made a couple earlier, so I can just show you the progression of how this works. And I use the store-bought pie crust. So the, Liebers, like here's an example of one of them. It's totally up to you. So here's just a regular pie crust. You can make your own also with, Oreo cookie crumbs, almond flour, if you're on keto or gluten-free and you can't find graham crackers. You can really just adapt it to however you want or you need. So I have my mixing bowls in front of me, a spatula, which I actually don't have in front of me and I really need. Again, measuring cups, I pre-measured everything out. Toppings of your choice, which we're going to get to much later. And we're going to do a no-bake cheesecake, little cheesecake mousses. That'll be next. So the first thing we're going to be making is a cheesecake. So the whole process of it sometimes is a little daunting because there's a water bath involved and there's a springform pan and there's a lot of cream cheese and you know what, just thinking about it just really gives people anxiety and they just get a little bit scared. So this recipe is really just, it's an easy one. You don't have to worry about any cracks forming in your cheesecake because the best part is you're going to bake this filling in this pie pan, and then on top, after it's done baking, we're putting another topping. We're going to bake that and it's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be white. It's going to be, you'll see. And it'll cover any cracks or any imperfections in your cheesecake, and that'll be your blank canvas to decorate however you want. So first things first, we're going to make our pie, our graham cracker crust. Again, if you want to use store-bought graham cracker crust, that's fine too.
I'm sorry, Naomi. I'm sorry, Ella. I just want to announce for everyone that has joined on, if you have any questions, just put it in the chat, and then I'll ask Naomi whatever it is that there's questions, because some of them come up and a lot of people have the same thing, and just so we keep the session clear and everyone can hear her speak. There is one question. Somebody wanted to know if they can use a springform pan instead of a pie pan.
So it's not going to be a high cheesecake. You'd really have to double. So instead of using 2 things of cream cheese, you'd want to use 4 to get that height. Otherwise, it's going to be a pretty flat cheesecake. A pie pan isn't as high as a springform pan. So you can adapt it to however you like. I'm going to be using this pie pan just because it's easy. Okay. So first things first, I have 1/3 of a cup of graham cracker crumbs. No, 1.5 cups, sorry, of graham cracker crumbs, and 1/3 of a cup of sugar. If you're on keto, you can use 1.5 cups of almond flour and 1/3 of a cup of monk fruit sugar, monk fruit sweetener. Okay. I made a keto cheesecake for a friend earlier. So things that I've learned. Anyways, like I said, I have the graham cracker crumbs measured out with the sugar, and it's going into this bowl. And then I have melted butter here. So 1/3 of a cup of melted butter. And I'm just going to put it in here. It's slightly cool. Usually I just like melt it and use it right away, but it's fine. As long as you can mix it and form a crust, you are good to go. All right, I'm going to use my hands. I'm going to get in there. Hands are your best tool. Okay.
Can you repeat what you said about the substitution for almond flour?
1.5 cups, same amount. Same amount. All right. So I'm just mixing it with my hands just to form, should be like sand, like a wet sand. You will have extra most likely. See, I had extra for my last demo. You could just leave it in the freezer and use it at a different time. Okay. Here's your pie pan again. You can use aluminum. This is a reusable one. I'm going to take some and I'm going to pour it in. There's no specific amount. I'm just using about half, and I'm pressing it down. You can grease your pan. You can line the bottom with, what's that called? With parchment paper. But I'm just going to press. You could bring the crumbs up the side of the pie pan, or you could just leave it as, you know, simple base, but why not? Okay, you don't have to bake this at all before. You just set it aside, and we're gonna make our filling. Does anyone have any questions about anything? And I'm gonna show you how it looks. Do you see it?
Yeah,
See
what if it doesn't seem so wet?
So this one's not so wet either, but it does adhere. Like when you do press it down, it should, you know, it should sort of stick together. It shouldn't be dry, but it shouldn't be too wet. If it's too wet, it's going to be greasy and it's going to like pool out. Okay. Any other questions while I'm just patting this down?
Nothing just yet.
Okay. Okay. So again, feel free to bake along with me, or you can watch what I'm doing and then bake later. Take notes if you want. But more or less everything that I say should be written down, unless, like, you know, I'm just throwing out like a little tip here and there. Just something that I've recently learned. Okay, so these are my extra crumbs. I'm actually going to put these together over here and set them aside. Then you can put them in the freezer and use them at a different time. All right, so that's our crust over there. All right, over here in my mixing bowl, I'm using a glass mixing bowl just so you can see what's going on. I have 2 bricks of cream cheese. I'm using full fat cream cheese. If you want to use low fat, you can use low fat. Totally up to you. I give you the recipe, and it's up to you to adjust it however you see, you know, how you see fit and based on your diet, whatever. All right, so I have it there, 2 bricks of cream cheese, and I have my sugar over here. So I have a cup of granulated white sugar. If you're keto, 3/4 of a cup of monk fruit. How's that? Oh, it's called monk fruit. I see the question. What is the keto sugar called? I got it on Amazon because, I don't know, you know what, now that Amazon's like actually not being so slow, I'm like all excited, so I feel like I just keep ordering stuff. It's by Health Garden, and it is all natural monk fruit sweetener. That's OU. Okay? Awesome. So I'm using a hand mixer. Just bear with me, because usually I use a stand mixer, and, you know, it can get a little loud. So I have a sprinkle on it for my last demo. Okay, the whole point is right now what we're going to do is we're going to beat the cream cheese with the sugar. So the cream cheese is going to melt the sugar, and we want a nice smooth mixture. Okay? I'd also like for that to go in there. Okay. So here's the cream cheese. And I'm using room temperature cream cheese. Adding the sugar. And then
How much sugar?
Oh, look. 1 cup of sugar. Okay, you want to mix it till it's nice and smooth, and And that's why you want to use room temperature cream cheese. You really want all of your ingredients to be room temperature together. So I'm going to scrape off my beaters, and I'm going to scrape down the side of the bowl, and I'll give it one more good mix. And you can see here, it's pretty smooth. There aren't any lumps going on. Actually, it's pretty smooth. I don't really need to like beat it again. Okay, so the sugar is dissolved into the cream cheese, and that's what you want. I'm just going to take this off my beaters, and I'm going to keep my beaters on the side because I'm going to be using them again after for the topping. And if you wanted to make this carved, you can use non-dairy cream cheese. There's Wayfair. I think that one is made with pea protein, and there's Kite Hill, and there's Tafudi, and there's the Trader Joe one. So there's all different options out there. Okay, so I have that. Oh wait, why did I do that? I need it for my eggs because I took off that part. It's been a long day. Okay, whatever. So you clean off whatever's on it. This beater seems to really be giving me. Okay, nice and smooth. We're gonna add our eggs. I have 2 large eggs over here. They're cracked, they're checked. On low speed. You don't want to use high speed. You don't want to incorporate more air into this because more air will give you cracks. So we're just gonna go on low and add 1 at a time. And then when the first one is incorporated, then we add the second. Step 1, now there's 2. If you want to add vanilla, you add it now. If you want to add lemon zest, you can add it now. If you want to use almond extract, you can add it now. You can add whatever flavor components you want. I'm just going to add that last. I'm going to add a little bit of this vanilla bean paste. Okay, and that just will give me these little black flecks in my cheesecake, which is very pretty. Low speed. Okay, and that right here is my cheesecake batter. Really simple, really easy. Any questions on that?
Can you use the vanilla bean powder instead to get the same?
Yeah, sure, a teaspoon of it, or not even a teaspoon, like a quarter of a teaspoon or so.
Okay.
You just want to get those little black flecks in. Okay. So here is my cheesecake batter, and here is my pie crust, or my pie shell, and whatever I made earlier. My graham cracker crust. I got my spatula that is on my list of things that I need. Okay, you see how nice and smooth that batter is? There's no lumps. And we're gonna pour it into this here pie crust. Get it all in, and then I'll just sort of spread it out. Just like that. Okay. So I'm not gonna bang the pan because I don't want it the crust to get all like out of sorts or out of place. So I'm just gonna gently move this around to the best of my ability.
Naomi, can you get the cheesecake more in the screen?
Yeah,
like
I will. As soon as here, let me move this. How's that? Okay. All right, I'm just taking my spatula and just sort of angling back and forth just to kind of wiggle it around, just like that. So I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. And I'll tell you what happens next. I'm gonna take this and I'm going to put it into the oven on the middle rack and set a timer for 40 minutes. And I will not open the oven door until my oven beeps, okay? Actually, I'm not even gonna open the door after 40 minutes. 40 minutes, 350 degrees with the oven on, meaning like it's going. And then after 40 minutes, when my oven beeps, I'm gonna turn off my oven. And I'm gonna set another timer for 15 minutes. And I'm gonna let it sit in the oven for 15 minutes. So I'm gonna explain something to you, and this is one thing that I've learned. If you take it out as soon as the oven beeps, it's gonna rise really high and really nice. But if you open the door and you let in all of that cold air, your cheesecake is gonna fall right away. And you're gonna get a lot of cracks on top. Okay, so you're gonna let it sit there for 15 minutes. And then I'll tell you a question someone asked me, can you let it sit in there longer than 15 minutes? So even though your oven is turned off, it's still hot in there. And I actually used a thermometer in my oven because I wanted to see like what the temperature is if my oven is, if my oven is set properly, calibrated properly. And even after 15 minutes, even with the oven turned off, it's still at 300 degrees. So it went from 350 to 300. So if you leave your cheesecake in there longer, it's going to keep cooking, and you don't want that. That's why there's these specific times that you want to have it in there for. So I have this, all right? You see, nothing perfect. It's there, into the oven, 40 minutes timer. And then, okay, you happen to be lucky to be my second demo of the evening. So I'm gonna show you what happens after the 40 minutes and after the 15 minutes of sitting in the oven. The magic of TV, this is what it's gonna look like, okay? It's gonna be brown, it's gonna have set nicely, this is what it's gonna look like, okay? It doesn't look like anything wow, but it has the crust, and this is what it is. That's when we get to the next part of our recipe, which you can actually make while the cheesecake is baking, and then you'll just put it on top after those 15 minutes. So let's go back to the recipe. And we see that this says topping ingredients, right? Everyone see it? 8 ounces of sour cream, 3 tablespoons of vanilla sugar, and 2 tablespoons of regular sugar. So here's my bowl, yet again. I'm gonna get on more gloves. So again, you want to use your room temperature ingredients. And I have my sour cream over here, like so. I'm gonna put it into the bowl. You can use your mixer if you'd like, or you can use a spatula. Because I'm talking to you, I'm gonna use a spatula to mix it. But I also have a whole bunch of this topping that I made earlier. So sometimes, depending on how big your pie shell is or whatever, sometimes I like to make like a little extra. It's totally up to you. Because I found with the bigger ones, sometimes I'd find like I'd have these like, it would look a little thin, but you can either double it or leave it as is. So this is just the 8 ounces of cream cheese. Also, if the room temperature ingredients will blend easier. Any questions on anything?
Nothing in the chat right now.
Okay. So here's my vanilla sugar. I have 3 tablespoons of vanilla sugar in there. 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar in there. And move this off to the side over here. Okay. Actually going to preheat my top oven because now my ovens are all milk-thick because I don't do any meat meals for Truist. Anything meat is going on the grill. That is how I am doing it. All right, so we have this over here, and I'm just mixing it. And again, you want to dissolve the sugar into your sour cream mixture. Some people's mixture is going to be a little thicker. Some people's mixture is going to be a little thinner. It really just depends on the temperature in your, of how long it's been sitting out for. But it doesn't need a lot of mixing to get that all dissolved. Okay. Okay. So this is going to be the topping for your cheesecake. What you're going to do is take your cheesecake, right, the one that was sitting in the oven for 15 minutes. You're going to take the topping, put it on top of that cheesecake. Your cheesecake is still going to be warm. And because it's warm, it's going to spread nicely across the top. Any questions on any of this thus far?
Nope, not yet.
Okay. Spread it. Don't worry if there's any borders going on, because the next part we're going to get into the decorating. Okay. So here we are. Spread it over the top. Preheat your oven back to 350 degrees. And this goes back in the oven for 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes. Then when your timer goes off, you take it out. You let it sit on your countertop for about half an hour, 45 minutes, or until it becomes room temperature. So if you notice, if there are any cracks in your cheesecake whatsoever, when you're putting this top layer on, they all go away. And again, don't worry about this border, because when you decorate it, it's going to be covered. Okay? So in the oven, 350, once again, 10 minutes. It's going to look just like this. It's not going to change. It's not going to get brown. It's not going to darken. It's just going to be for 10 minutes, and then it will set completely. Okay. So I have that over here. And then I'm going to show you the next step. Once it's completely at room temperature, you put it in the fridge to cool completely. You don't want to decorate your cheesecake when it's warm at all, because then what's going to happen is that your filling is going to basically melt. I mean, your topping is going to just melt off. So I'm going to put this on the side. I'm going to go grab another cheesecake. I'm getting a lot of them. So I have one here that was actually decorated in the last demo. All right. So I told you I used a store-bought pie crust. So it's over here. This is the cheesecake. It has the topping on it that has been baked for 10 minutes, that has cooled completely. This is what it looks like, okay? It's set, it's firm. You still have that border, and that's totally fine, because this is what it looks like after it's decorated. Okay, I have these like Heath bar pieces and caramel and chocolate, and you really, it's your blank canvas when we're going to decorate the cake together. So first things first is, what kinds of cake do we want to do? Do we want to do a cookies and cream one with like Oreos? Do we want to do something with Reese's Pieces? What do you think, Ariella, since I'm looking at you right now?
I like cookies and cream. Let's do cookies and cream.
Okay, so let me go get more gloves, because it's a messy thing, you know? Okay. So first things first, what I have here, let's see. I have ganache that I made. It's firmed up. Okay, I have that. I have the Oreo cookie pieces. First one, I know what I did. I'm grabbing whipped cream. Okay, so when you're making whipped cream for a cheesecake, you don't want to use just a can of whipped cream. You want to use a whipped cream that isn't going to like dissolve into your cake. All right. So this over here is whipped cream and a package of, and there's some confectioner sugar and a package of pudding mix. The pudding mix is what stabilizes it so it doesn't melt off. And I just put it in a piping bag. You could take a Ziploc bag and then just cut off the corner and just make yourself a makeshift piping bag. I'm just sort of going around. This is just a regular plastic disposable piping bag.
Okay, I have another question. If we're making the whipped cream at home, what are the measurements for the sugar and the pudding mix?
I use a whole package of pudding mix, and then you adjust the sweetness as you want, because the pudding mix has sugar in it. So I would start off with like 2 tablespoons of like confectioner sugar or regular sugar and just adjust it as you go. So if you like something that's sweeter, add more sugar. Okay, so we have this over here. Then I can just take my Oreo cookies and sort of just like put them over here. Maybe not, but whatever. See how like easy it is to work with whipped cream here? Just fill in any gaps that don't look good. Okay, wait. So then I'm gonna take some chocolate sprinkles. Sort of just go around. I have mini Oreo cookies, that's what I'm gonna grab. And you just have fun with it, okay? I'll crumble up some Oreos over here. Sort of put them around this. You can take the Oreos and you can make a border instead of the whipped cream. You got those little sprinkles in there. You just really create your own pattern and you sort of just have fun with it. All right, so we have this. Okay.
I have another question. When
Sure.
you crumble the Oreos, do you take out the cream part?
No, cream's inside. See? Crumbling it. I'm just putting it over here. Okay. I'm gonna melt this ganache that I made a little earlier. Or what you could do is you could take chocolate spread or Nutella and melt it down a little bit and put it in like a bag like this, like a piping bag or a Ziploc bag. You can put it in hot water just to melt it down a little bit. I'm just going to throw it in the microwave for a second. Actually, I have a bowl of it. I'm going to put it in the microwave. For like 20 seconds. I made a ganache earlier. So ganache is basically equal parts of heavy cream and chocolate. So if I use half a cup of heavy cream, I'm going to use half a cup of chocolate and melt it together. Okay, until it melts. And then you're good?
Yeah, so I have one more question. If you're going to make a fruit topping, do you always make the sour cream top first?
If what?
If you're going to make like a fruit topping,
yeah,
or just put the sour cream on it?
Yeah, otherwise it'll just be liquid and slide off.
Okay.
Yeah, but you always, it also has to do with flavor and layering and all that fun stuff.
And then also for the sour cream topping, since everyone's waiting for their stuff to cook, should they put the sour cream in the fridge right now?
No. You want it to be room temperature so it melts onto the cake nicely. Okay, so this is my ganache that I made earlier. Equal parts of heavy cream and equal parts of chocolate. Okay, you can use milk chocolate, you can use dark chocolate, whatever you wish. Okay, I'm just pouring it into like a lovely piping bag that I showed you. Or you can just use a fork and just like drizzle, whatever you wish. I have this here, my scissors, just cutting the corner here. And then I'm just gonna go freestyle. I love it when there's little pieces of chocolate that are stuck in there. Here we go. Drizzle.
Naomi, which from the pictures that you supplied us with on the front, what is on the top of that one? It's the what do you need?
Caramel corn. And it's dulce de leche, like store-bought dulce de leche, like caramel sauce. And this here chocolate ganache. So it's like the Pop Sanity popcorn. Ugh. I love when this happens on like my demos, you know? When the chocolate gets out, and that's also why I have like a counter cover going on here. All right. How's that? We just drizzle. By the way, you can use store-bought like syrups if you wanted to, like ice cream toppings, even like that magic shell that like freezes as soon as, you know, it touches something cold. Ice cream one. Or you can actually make your own. Okay. So we have this. I love how this is cooperating with me when it's not on the cake, or whatever. All right, so I got all my chocolate drizzle going on here. Explain to me why it will drizzle on there, but not over here. Whatever, it's fine. So we have this over here. You see that? Whipped cream, we got our cookie pieces. We got this going on. You can take some, I have these are like little Ghirardelli, what are they called? Little Ghirardelli chocolate wafer things, and just, you know, throw it around the side here. Really just go to town with it. Okay, so you don't see any of the cracks that were on the side. Everything is covered up. You can do different types. You can take, whatchamacallit. You can take shortbread cookies, crumble them up, put them around the side, and then do dulce de leche and chocolate and do like a Snickers type. Not Snickers, Twix. You can do peanuts and chocolate and caramel and do like a Snickers one. And I think I wrote a bunch of them down here. Over here I have pecans. So you can do pecans and caramel and chocolate and do like a turtle-esque theme. Really could do anything. You can do freeze-dried raspberries that I have over here and chocolate chips and put those around the border and then do like, you know, raspberry coulis, or, you know, make your own, you know, raspberry sauce, drizzle it in the middle, or use store-bought raspberry pie filling and you can just put that in the middle. You can do colorful sprinkles. You can melt lotus butter and drizzle it over and take the cookies and decorate the side. And I'll show you, because I have a few other cheesecakes in my fridge, how to do a couple others if you want before we move on to the no-bake ones. Up to you. You tell me. What do you want to do?
More cake.
Ariella?
Hi. You can take a poll. Does anyone want to give, just in the chat, and then I'll tell you what. Does anyone else have any ideas of what they want to do based off what Naomi said? You want to do the turtle one?
Do I want to do the turtle one?
Can you do the turtle one?
I could. Okay. So, okay, fine. So I have the pecan pieces over here. Normally around the side, what would I do? Let me warm up the dulce de leche. I'm trying to think. I just wish I had more pecans because this is what I have left over. You know what? I'm going to do the turtle one for the no-bake cheesecake one. How's that? And do like the shot glass. You'll get the same idea. This one I was actually just going to do the lotus one. I was like, oh, lotus. Easy. Cookies are obviously in front of me. Take your cookies, you crumble it up, and then you just put them around the border like so. Nothing crazy. That'll be the border of your cheesecake. Okay, all the way around. So if you want to, you know, crush them up some more, if you're not in a rush, take your time. And they go all the way around. Okay. Simple, easy. Again, take your time. All right, so we have this over here. So this is our border. And if you want to do cinnamon chips, you could do cinnamon chips with it because that balances really nicely with the flavors. Okay. So then I have lotus butter over here. You could throw this in the microwave for like 30 seconds. I'll show you really quickly. And then you just drizzle it over the top. Always make sure you take off any of the metal that is on your lotus butter or your peanut butter or whatever you're microwaving. Just, you know, your safety, what's it called? So here I have these little like Israeli like chocolate flip balls. That's what they're called. So I'm just having fun with that and putting them around the side here. Really just about having fun. It's a great exercise. Yeah.
Can you show what the lotus cookie looks like?
That was like my last one. This is the package of the cookie butter. The package of the cookies looks just like this.
I think I have it. I'll get it 1 second.
But they're called, they're Biscoff cookies.
It's this.
Yeah, Biscoff. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the lotus butter, microwaves, okay. And what you can do is you can also just put it in a piping bag, or you can just drizzle it over the top like this, and it'll spread out. Because it's like peanut butter and it's like Nutella and it's like any of those things, it'll just, you know, sort of move around. Okay, so then we have that. Just sort of jiggle it to get into any of the little crevices. Whatever it doesn't go into, just put on more crumbs over there to cover that up. Just like that. Okay, and then I would take a cookie and I would put it in the middle just to, like, you know, cute little decoration type thing.
It's featured on the little pamphlet that we had.
Yeah, there's one there too. I think if I have more lotus, I don't have more lotus. I think I do. Okay. And then when you put this in the fridge, it sets. All right, so it'll firm up. All right, so really your like possibilities are endless. Nutella, halva, cookie butter. This is a dulce de leche. It's a store-bought one. You can use these here, Ghirardelli syrups. They have all different flavors. And it's just about having fun and enjoying yourself. Okay, so that was that. And then we'll move on to the no-bake cheesecake. Yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna like clean this up a little bit and move this out of the way. No Big Cheesecake is pretty simple. You can use any type of instant pudding that you want. Vanilla, chocolate, cheesecake, anything really. Okay, let me just move this. Then I go grab another, I'll do what I have. Okay. So here's the mixing bowl that I had from before, right? Totally fine. And I'm gonna take, right here, it's a box of cheesecake pudding mix, right? Milk, whipped cream cheese. 3 ingredients. You can add some vanilla in if you want to. Up to you. See, room temperature, just sort of just goes really easy. All right, then we have our, hold on, gonna move that. I want to go along with you. Okay. So you can use your vanilla bean paste if you want to. My cheesecake, and I'm gonna add milk. Instant pudding, adapt it to whatever flavor you want. Whole package is going in. Questions? Good? Great. Milk, you can use 2%, 1%, whole milk, whatever you want. I'm just gonna put it in the same measuring cup that I had my, what's it called in? My sugar.
The pudding packet that you had, is it a 4-serving or a 6-serving pack?
It is the standard one that is, it says 4.5 cup serving.
Okay.
I think the other one is just the larger size. So I just use the standard one. Okay, a cup of milk inside the bowl. Right? You can use a whisk for this, or you can use your mixer. I'm gonna use my mixer. So I have my beaters over here. I have my mixer over here. Okay. Turning it on. You mix it till it's thick. You want to add vanilla, You want to mix till all your lumps are gone and it's a nice smooth batter, okay? All right. Okay, the amount that this makes is dependent on how big your mason jars are and how much you're piping in. So I'm going to show you a bunch of different containers that I have, little jars, little like shot glasses and all that fun stuff. Okay. Let me move this over here. Let me move that over there. Just trying to keep everything nice and, well, nicer than this. All right. And again, if you wanted to add vanilla to it, you can add vanilla to it. Add vanilla bean paste over there. You can use whatever extract you want. You don't have to use an extract at all. All right. So what do I have? I have my piping bag here, or you can use a Ziploc, whatever you wish. You can add a piping tip to the bag if you want to. A piping tip is basically what you see over here. What sort of gives you that little like star shape or, you know, whatever you want. I know I have another one. I'm trying to look for it. Everything disappears when I need it. Okay. Meanwhile, I have this little mason jar over here. This is about a 1 ounce mason jar, all right? I have, where is it? One of these condiment cups. I have a shot glass. You could really use anything you want, whatever size. You want to kind of keep it single serving, so like, you know, the smaller the better, which is cute also. I'm gonna see if I can find my piping tip, which I should have, because it was on my counter. This is fell, which is very possible also. Okay, whatever, it's not a big deal. Okay, so I have my dulce de leche that I had in this piping bag from before. I have my ganache over here. I have Nutella over here. I have my lotus butter that I have melted. So I have all these like fun little bases and fun flavors to add. So I'm gonna go back to my leftover graham cracker crust. Remember I had extra and I told you you can freeze it for future use. It's future use time. All right, if you don't want to use that, let's say you wanted to take a cookie and use that as your base. You can do that too, like an Oreo cookie. Don't have anything next to me, but that's what I would use. Actually, I do have an Oreo cookie. It's right here. Okay, so cookie. Here's the base. That's my little makeshift crust right there. Here's my bag. Here is my mixture. Okay, it's going to be thick because of the pudding. You put it into your bag. Just shaking it to move it downwards. Okay. Again, if you have any questions or whatever, talking to myself gets a little bit like, there's only so much I can like keep saying. It's always nice to like interact. Okay, so I'm gonna take this, cut it off, all right? So I have this over here, for example, and all I'm gonna do is just pipe this on, okay? If you have a tip, that's fine. If you don't have a tip, that's fine. You can stop and you can, you know, make layers of different things. But I'm telling you, this tastes exactly like cheesecake without any baking involved. Okay, so you have this cute little adorable cup like that.
Naomi, what's your favorite flavorings to do like the mini cups?
Oh, so they're actually on the paper. There's just a bunch of different ones. It really depends on my mood. I really like cookies and cream. I like Lotus. I'm really not like picky in that sense. You know, I'm really not a huge chocolate fan, so I don't like anything like with chocolate, but I like Oreo, peanut butter cup. I'd say Oreo is probably my favorite.
What's your most bought flavor?
Oh, the cookie dough one. Cookie dough. Oh, you know what? Thanks for reminding me. So I'll show you. This is fun and exciting. Okay, fine. So we have this over here. You could take some little mini chocolate chips and just like sprinkle them over the top just to dress it up. I actually have like a bunch of different size chocolate chips here, like the micro mini ones, like the regular ones, whatever like happens to land and stick, that works. So we have this little like cookies and cream one over there. And then, thank you Ariella for reminding me about that, by the way. So score to you on that. Gonna move this. All right, so next up, I'll take another one of these. I like these little cute cups over here. What should I do? I'll take some graham cracker crumbs that I have here. There's no specific amount, okay? So it's really whatever you want. And I'm going to press them down. Just like that, okay? And then on top of that, I'm gonna take some caramel because I like caramel. And I'll just squeeze that over the top and sort of create like a yummy, I don't know, whatever you call this, layer on top of that crust, okay? So I have my caramel, I have my cheesecake. I have my crumbs. Delish. And then what I would do is I would take my cheesecake over here and pipe it on. And then I'm gonna take a little bit more caramel and I'm gonna drizzle it over the top like this. And I'm gonna take some pecan pieces and sprinkle them there. And then maybe I'll take some chocolate chips and I'll sprinkle them there. Or I'll use some chocolate ganache. And I'll take cheesecake mixture again and do a top layer like that. Okay? Just like that. And then I'm gonna top it with some more pecan pieces and some more little chocolate chips or some ganache and some more caramel. And I have a really cute little like turtle cheesecake cup. Okay, so we have this over here. How cute is that? I think it's adorable. Questions? Anything?
Other than Oreos and graham crackers, do you have any other suggestions for the little cups, like a base for the cup?
You can use anything you want. You can use chocolate chip cookies. You can use, I'm trying to think, offhand. Really anything. Shortbread cookies. You know? Let your creativity run wild. Does anyone have any ideas they want to share? I'm always down with that. Feel free to pipe in.
Does anyone have any suggestions or questions, something that they want her to go over from the packet that we gave?
So over here, I'm not even doing graham crackers. I'm just going to put chocolate, okay? So I'm going to take my ganache and just put that on the bottom. Just like a whole like glob over here. Right over here. By the way, if you hear my voice in the background, it's because I have an automatic pet feeder that's going off now, and it's me like saying, yeah. So just letting you know, if you hear me yelling in the background, it's me on a pet feeder. Okay, so just sharing that with you.
If you make it with hot fudge, do you melt it first?
You don't have to. Okay, so I have that over here. This is pretty, like, it's pretty thick. It's the same consistency that it would come out in, like, you know, a jar or something. And then, what am I going to do? Oh, I know what I'm going to do. So I have that over there.
Sorry, Naomi. Is it, if it is melted, is it too hot that it'll melt the cheese?
Is what hot? It's not hot. It's more or less room temperature. It's pretty, it's thick, it's set. It's just a thick ganache. It's like more or less room temperature. If I want to use it as a drizzle, I'll melt it down, but like it's not hot. And then I put some graham crackers on top of it. See? Kind of did like a little upside down thing here. You don't want your toppings to be hot. You don't want your crumb to be hot because you're using something that's cold. Okay, then I'm going to take this over here. Same cheesecake filling. All right, pipe it on like so. Graham cracker crumbs. Remember on the bottom I have chocolate, graham crackers, cheesecake, graham cracker crumbs, some chocolate chips. Can you see where I'm going with this? Anyone? Marshmallows?
My roommate is yelling s'mores. She loves this.
And here we go, okay? So we have this. Whoops, don't want it to fall over, but guess what? It didn't really go anywhere. Okay, so that's a s'more one. I like to have fun with these things. Okay, so far I have 3 of these, all right? Next up, what I'm gonna do is, I kind of like these like shot glass ones better than the mason jars because number one, I don't have to wash these, so I'll just throw them out after. You could use different sizes. So for this one, what should I do? I'm still gonna use, you know what, you could do chocolate again if you wanted to. I'm actually gonna cut this some more. If I knew where my scissors were, which were in front of me, otherwise I'd use a knife. Okay, and again, you can use peanut butter, you can use Nutella, you can really use anything you want. Okay, so I have chocolate. This is what I call a beautiful mess, okay? All right, so I have chocolate here. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of these Reese's Pieces over here. This is where I just put them over. Have a nice layer of like peanut butter cups. My son is a huge Reese's Pieces peanut butter cup lover. And he's lucky because my other 2 don't like it, so no one's gonna argue with him about having this. Right, cheesecake, again. Okay. And then I'm just gonna top it with some of these wafery things and more of these like Reese's treats. So I got a peanut butter cup here, I got a Reese's Pieces over here. So I like to just go down the baking aisle and just have fun with whatever I find. Okay, so that beeping that you hear is that 40-minute timer. I'm going to turn off the oven and leave it inside for 15 minutes. So this is like the Reese's one. Again, if you want to melt peanut butter and drizzle it over the top, go to town. And you're going to put these in the fridge and they're going to set. And I'm telling you, it's like a cheesecake, ice cream, delicious, magical snack. All right, so that's going. Here, I'm just turning off the oven there. And I'm going to put the other cheesecake thing in there. Any questions on any of this?
When you said that you put your cheesecake in the fridge for a certain amount of time to cool down, what's your suggested time for it to cool down?
So it should be room temperature when you put it in the fridge and then like let it sit there for 2-3 hours.
2-3 hours, okay.
Yeah, you should have a nice glossy, the top should be nice and glossy. And you'll know when you feel it, it'll be set and good to go.
Okay, and then also, how do you, so one person wants just any general baking tips, and how do you do your cookie dough one?
Oh, thank you. Just reminding me about that again. Okay, so I did the graham cracker crust over here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab it from the freezer because it's store-bought. I did not make it myself. Ben & Jerry's has these cookie dough pieces. They're in the freezer section with the ice cream. Yeah, I see your face over there. You're like, and then this is pretty much what I dig out of the ice cream to eat, okay? There's this one time my son was like eating ice cream and he's like, you need to write a letter to the company because there's no cookie dough in here. Because I might have like taken it all out and eaten it. And I was like, oh, that's horrible. You're so right. He's like, that's not fair. You need your money back. And I was like, yeah. I write a strongly worded letter to the, it was me. I dug out all of those pieces. I'm just putting on some chocolate because I'll tell you something, I don't like chocolate. So if the chocolate's there, I'm not going to eat it. Really not a chocolate fan. Okay, so we have that. And then I'm going to take my cookie dough pieces and put them over here. Do you like watching my deadlines?
I just can't be sure what you said.
What?
Just can't make sure you're good at it.
Yeah. You're gonna have to turn off the oven when it hits 10 minutes though. You'll hear it beep. Okay, so there's my cookie dough pieces, right? Where'd she go? She went to go buy cookie dough? Ariel, made a funny joke. Okay.
She's trying to find those cookie dough pieces.
Target. Target, Walmart. By the way, you could use any edible cookie dough. Like they have like the no bake, you know, they have it with the yogurt section, which I always find weird. Why are they selling that with yogurt? Anyways, I'm just using up whatever I have in my pastry bag, but you can always just, like you saw how easy it was to whip up more. Okay, so we have this. And then I'll take more cookie dough because you're eating a salad and I'm eating cookie dough here. For some reason, I only see Ariel on the screen. Like, oh, yeah, I see other people too. But I actually just don't have great eyesight. All right. So I think I gave you like a pretty fair amount of ideas here. All right, why not just go nuts with that? So that's there, and then I'll take some of these sprinkles and sprinkle them on top. So you see these ideas and sort of like how to go with it. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pretty good size whatchamacallits out of it. So we have our cheesecake and we have our no-bake cheesecake cups. It's really just about having fun, enjoying.
Can you just push the little cups into our view of the screen?
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
No problem. How's that?
Just the Reese's one is not, I can't see, but everything else is good. You're making us hungry.
Yeah, I still have to work out. But yeah, really just like however you want to do it, just have fun with it. I'll probably make more pudding and just keep doing this to avoid everything else I have to do. But yeah, so now you see like you can even do like more cheesecake thing on top of it. So there you go.
Does anyone have any final questions? Anything else they want to address before we close out?
Tell them they can unmute themselves.
What?
Okay, I think we're good.
You are? Okay, awesome.
Thank you so much, Naomi.
You're welcome. Enjoy your cheesecakes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy your salad.
Thank you.
Have a good night, Katsumeya.
Thanks, Mel.
Yeah.
Bye. Nice seeing you. See ya. Okay. Now the fun part of cleaning up. Night, night. It is late. Bye.
Thank you so much, Naomi. Really appreciate it. All right.